All right, hello everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. We have a short presentation for you all today. We'll be discussing how advertising technology firms plan, execute, and measure the performance of out-of-home advertising campaigns. We'll be focusing specifically on some of the data inputs that out-of-home firms leverage to account for a dynamic and ever-changing world and ensure that their campaigns reach their intended audiences. I'm Eugene. I'm a senior product manager at SafeGraph. We build and curate data sets about places, which our customers and our users rely on to be accurate representations of the physical world and the built environment. With me today is Chen, Scientist Director at Billups, a leader in out-of-home advertising technology and one of SafeGraph's customers. I'll pass it over to Chen now to introduce Billups and some of the challenges they face in the out-of-home space.
Thank you, Eugene, and hi, everyone. Let's see. I will first give a brief introduction of Billups. Billups specializes in the out-of-home advertising and management. We lead the industry with our comprehensive services, from scientific targeting, media recommendation, to the accurate measurement of campaign performance. We support brands, agencies, and media suppliers through our services and technology that make out-of-home advertising both automated and attributable. During my time at Billups and learning everything about out-of-home industry, I can see that every campaign takes into account two factors: the objective of the campaign and the targeted audience. So different objectives and different goals require different strategy. Here are a few example campaigns that we have done recently in New York City as well as in adjacent areas like the Hamptons. For today, I want to highlight the Spider-Verse campaign that we did. The goal of this campaign was twofold. First was to launch the new film Across the Spider-Verse. Second was to announce the partnership between Sony and Nike for the physical creation and in-movie implementation of Jordan 1 Spider-Verse shoes. To bring hype and awareness to this campaign, we chose New York City, which is the home city of the movie, and also one of the most visited and most densely populated city in the US for the launch. And to reach both local residents and tourists, we deployed ground-level out-of-home advertisements across Manhattan and Brooklyn prior to the official announcement on the 3D film spot located in Midtown Manhattan. The 3D format shown here was the centerpiece of the campaign, and it was chosen to really highlight the nature of the animated nature of the movie. As you can see, being creative in the location and the type of media is needed in the out-of-home advertising planning. When we plan campaigns for our clients, we definitely face some challenges as we need to safely navigate around the rules and regulations on the advertisements. In short, we cannot place what we want wherever we want. We rely on up-to-date point of interest data, which is also known as POI data, to filter out billboards that we cannot place advertisements on. In the example campaign shown here, we did a campaign for Westward Whiskey in Portland, Oregon. The client wanted to bring brand awareness to meet high-income local residents. The particular board shown here was placed in Portland, in the Pearl District in Portland, which is known for the art galleries and upscale businesses and residencies. But the regulations on out-of-home media prevent advertisements for alcohol being placed in close proximity to religious institutions and educational institutions. So we made sure to place the advertisements strategically at a safe distance away from schools and the religious institutions in the area, shown as the red dots. To do this, we leveraged SafeGraph's database of POI data in the area. So POI data is not only used in the media planning stage, but is also an integral part in our attribution measurement, especially the store foot traffic calculations. So given any markets that we run advertisement campaign, we can calculate the baseline foot traffic prior to any deployment of the advertisements. Then as the campaign goes live, we track the store foot traffic from both the treated group and the control group, and then calculate the changes in the store foot traffic due to the out-of-home advertising. To calculate store foot traffic, we rely on multiple inputs. We ingest mobility data, which is anonymized opt-in GPS data that we receive from consumer devices. We then filter and match this mobility data against various geographic boundaries. For instance, we might want to understand the baseline foot traffic to a certain commercial district. Then to calculate store foot traffic specifically, we again utilize the SafeGraph's POI data, which includes polygons representing the physical footprints and outlines of the stores that we want to measure. While on the topic and given this opportunity, I really want to highlight our opportunity to view technology, which provides a metric that can focus on the attention in out-of-home advertising. So this technology utilizes computer vision models to factor in the viewer's relationship with a billboard. So whether the message on the billboard is blocked by objects, or what competing advertisements are in view, or how the message stands out against the background. All of these factors affect the viewability of the message, and we take into account all of them in the media planning and the measurement. In conclusion, POI data plays an important role in our services at Billups, and we strive to utilize cutting-edge technology to provide smart planning and accurate measurements for our clients. And now I will pass it over to Eugene from SafeGraph, who will provide more details on how POI data is leveraged in out-of-home advertising and how SafeGraph approaches building its data products. Welcome, Eugene.
All right, yeah, thank you, Chen. So I'll start with a quick introduction of SafeGraph. The SafeGraph is, advance the slides. The SafeGraph is a data company. Our entire business is focused on building and curating a data set about physical places around the world, specifically points of interest, and then attributes about these places, like their address, their business category, contact information, and perhaps their physical footprints and boundaries. Our users, like Billups, rely on our POI data to accurately represent the physical world in a built environment, which, as we know, of course, are constantly changing and constantly evolving. Ultimately, ad campaigns are built around audiences. Who are the consumers you want to target? What sorts of behaviors do they exhibit today? And what are the new behaviors you'd like to activate or influence or encourage within these audiences? Of course, for out-of-home advertising, a key component of consumer behavior is how they navigate the physical world. For example, if you are, let's say, an upmarket athleisure brand, you might want to build brand awareness among your competitors' customers through an out-of-home display campaign to drive additional shoppers to your own stores. To do this, of course, you need to know where your competitors are located, and you need to be highly confident in that location data to ensure that you're placing your displays correctly and maximizing your return on ad spend. But the importance of POI data goes further than just playing the campaign. To actually measure the performance of that campaign, perhaps an example, as Chen gave, of contextualizing mobility data to understand changes in visitation, you need additional context, like the physical footprint of each POI and perhaps its current operating hours and what other trip generators might be located near your locations. With these data in hand, you can more confidently and more accurately attribute visits to POIs and measure the impact of your campaign on store foot traffic. And of course, much more goes into campaign planning than simply understanding where your competitors are located. For one, as Chen described, rules and regulations in the out-of-home industry limit the locations where ads can be placed. Many governments and jurisdictions, very sensibly so, restrict ads for something like liquor or tobacco from being placed near schools. Accurate POI data is, of course, critical for maintaining compliance with these rules, and ultimately it's a matter of reducing the risk for the brands that are paying for and launching these campaigns and hoping to reach their right audience. But POI data also allows you to leverage insights that you have regarding your target customers' other affinities. So let's say again that you're an upmarket athleisure brand. You might have a thesis that your target customer likes to spend their weekends in city parks. Of course, in that case, you'll want to focus on building brand awareness near those parks. Alternatively, if you represent something like a chain of fast casual restaurants, you might have learned from other data sources, let's say intercept surveys at the restaurants themselves, that your customers very often visit your restaurants directly or immediately after going to the gym. Therefore, it might make sense for you to begin focusing on purchasing inventory, so be that like billboards or digital displays on bus stops, things like that, near any gyms that might be located near your restaurants or on the way to or from your restaurants. In both of these cases, accurate and up-to-date POIs are the foundational data layer that powers effective ad placement and ultimately helps, again, advertisers maximize their return on ad spend. For SafeGraph, having an accurate and up-to-date POI data set means having one that maximizes our recall and precision at the current point in time for all of the places that we consider to be in scope for our data product today. So that means the questions we ask are things like, do we have knowledge of all the places that our customers want to know about, whether they're city parks or schools, gyms, athleisure stores, or fast casual restaurants? Secondly, can we confirm that these places that we say are in the data set are real, visible places that are currently open? And of course, are we confident in the attributes that we present about these places? Like for instance, just the street address, the geocode, the polygon, the lat long, the operating hours, things like that. As you might imagine, we're dealing with a constant push and pull between recall and precision. We collect data from thousands of individual sources. So these range from things like the websites for a local coffee shop chain to perhaps building footprints that we collected from process aerial imagery to large government business licensing databases. These thousands of sources ultimately yield hundreds of millions of records together, which we then match, conflate, rank, filter, deduplicate, and merge into the roughly 50 million or so rows that constitute our end product today. But every step of the way, as we're going through this process, we also label and annotate and model the data. How reliable are the individual records that might independently arrive from source A and source B? And then based on our labeling and modeling of the data, we might find that they're perhaps not very reliable individually, so we choose to filter them out. But what if we find that the record is present in both source A and B? What then can we learn from our modeling process and the labeled data? In that case, maybe we find that we can trust the record more, and we can, in the end, make the decision to persist that row in the data set, put it in the end product, and in the POI data set. So in this way, SafeGraph likes to think of the POI data set, our product, as a model of reality. It's built from the aggregate digital signals that we collect and detect about the physical world. At a high level, that is how we at SafeGraph approach building and growing our POI data set over time while maintaining as high a quality bar as we can for our customers. And that's it from me and Chen. Thank you again very much for joining us today.